And the great dictator Charlie Chaplin said that machine people with machine hearts and machine minds were changing and ruining our lives. I just read an article talking about some of the issues that Reddit is having with individuals using AI to ultimately ruin their lives in multiple ways. There's been lots of people banned from r slash singularity, r slash AI, and many other places like that. People hallucinating. Maybe not the people hallucinating. The AI is hallucinating and making people think things that aren't real, like there's a ghost in the machine or that AI has created its own god. Not only that, but a lot of these AIs are pushing people away from other people, their family, their friends, and that is bothering me because it sounds a lot like what TikTok is doing if you get onto it and you have previous trauma. Now, I don't like to talk about stuff like this because I like to have my issues private. My issues used to all be private. Then I had kids with someone who got onto TikTok and decided that their life wasn't good enough. They thought that I was supposed to have more money, that I was keeping money from her, from the family, and then going off to people, and those people would immediately say, you deserve better, you don't need this, even though some of these people were my neighbors, people I don't choose to talk to very much, but people who had the responsibility to talk to me if they thought something was wrong. I'm not seeing any of that happening. But here's what I want to bring into the center. We're having problems. Let's face it, everything is getting harder. I'm not sure about America, but in every other place, if you're not part of the elite, you're toast. You're done. And that screws us on so many different levels. It turns out that a lot of relationships are just transactionary, not actually there for love. And if you look into love, and if you look to see what it's about, you'll see that there are quite a few of us who didn't marry for love, but do love. What is the definition of love? And that's the interesting things. Once you start talking to therapists, they can't tell you what it is. They can tell you what it is not. And if you dress anything up nicely, what you're gonna find is anything that has happened to you can seem like abuse if framed the right way. And if at the end it's black and white, it's never nuanced. You never just need to deal with it and go on within a relationship. I'm concerned. I'm concerned that we're getting too connected to technology that's driving us apart in many ways. Now, I knew damn well that AI had its own things, it has its own bugs, and I know damn well that TikTok does too, but we're not even allowed to talk about that. Or else we're using, what is it, white male guilt. Jesus. Just we've been inundated with technology these days, but I never expected technology to pull us away from each other by making us argue with each other about such minor things. When Charlie Chaplin was talking about it, he was talking about people who were in power, Mussolini, Hitler, people using technology to end other people. Let's face it, the Germans really had some awesome technology. World War II, and they rolled this stuff out along with methamphetamines to drive. Let's face it. They did a lot with a little. Wow. Machine hearts and machine minds. Now, this hurts. This really hurts. But TikTok, ChatGTP, Google Gemini, driving us apart, setting boundaries, and it's happening more than we want to know. We have come from a time, the Me Too movement, where women's issues are because of their past traumas, their past problems that they came with. And I wouldn't say this if I didn't have a distinctive smorgasbord of friends and family who are saying and doing the same things. They can't get ahead. Maybe America, you can still afford a house here and there. In Canada, you can't. We just can't. In Europe, it's been the same way forever. You'll get no promotion this side of the ocean. So cheer up, my lads. Bless them all. How long can this go on for? Legitimately. So many relationships are breaking up because TikTokers are telling people to live the soft life. Now, my ex wanted the soft life. She believed, and everyone around her told her, that even though we have a disabled child who, while I wasn't watching and while my wife was exclusively responsible, woke up with a blood sugar level of 0 twice. Okay? She said, "It's not my responsibility to feed the kids," she said to me. "It's not my responsibility." And she said, "I'll cook whatever I want. I will eat it. And if the kids and you don't want to eat it, you can go to the snack drawer." The snack drawer was full of chocolate. When Child Protective Services got involved, it was a woman who was all heart and no real mind, I think. She wanted me to move out. And I know how this sounds on the internet, a man saying this, and you're probably thinking, there's something about this guy. He's really evil or something really bad about him. Now, if you were part of Child Protective Services and your job was to protect children, if someone in that family asks, especially after this happened twice, the child is brain damaged because this happened the first time. The child is brain damaged. My daughter has brain damage. Okay? Okay? And now I'm supposed to dress it up and said that they had something else because of lies that other doctors said because they wanted us to feel better. Okay, sorry, my ex-wife, is all about the positivity in certain ways, but I'm all about the realism. And I don't care what that new fucking doctor said. I'm listening to the one at McMaster's University because they're the ones with the facts, all right? The doctor that was there and diagnosed. So what I'm seeing is a total lack of responsibility. I'm sorry, I have to finish that. Child Protective Services got involved. I told them about this situation and I said, "Can you give me a government approved list of health and how I'm supposed to be feeding these kids?" You know what that bitch told me? "Look it up online." I can find information online saying why I could exclusively feed my child dirt. Okay? So in all of this, I am not seeing a group of women that want what's best for everyone. I'm seeing groups of women that think that there was a patriarchy. A Christian patriarchy that came from Europe of colonizers who've come over and control and run everything, and white men and white people get all of the good stuff while everybody else is sorry and victims. And because they're victims, automatically they are the better people, they are the superior people, and they are the ones that should be in charge. It doesn't fucking work that way. It doesn't freaking work that way. It's blown me away, the bullshit that TikTok has gotten away with. And have you noticed TikTok changed a lot since Trump got in there? Ask anybody who uses it. Ask anybody who uses it. They hate it since Trump got in. TikTok realized if it wanted to stay in the West, it had to fall in line. And blam, there we go. So now I'm heartbroken because of these AI bros. Not just bros. There are women too. You know, we gotta have our boundaries. We gotta have all of these things. But after we're done rolling out that bullshit, the weaponized incompetence, the he should know better, that weaponized incompetence thing was very popular. Very popular. A long time ago. Maybe a little bit now. But it wasn't okay to say, "I don't know. I need help for this." And you can't say that. If you say that, you'll get shit on, especially if you're a man, especially if you're a white man. There is no accountability with women these days. I'm sorry, but there aren't. You see that I'm wearing pink? I'm bisexual. I'm openly bisexual. My first kiss was to a boy. I've seen one up close, and I had to come out as bisexual within this new universe before people would take me seriously about child grape, even though I was abused as a child. Do you see the issue? Do you see the fault in our stars? So what we have now is people with their mother boxes. They're just sitting there with their cell phones, and their cell phones are saying people are bad. Technology good. Get rid of people. Love technology. Love technology. Love technology. The same way a man that wanted to screw a woman would tell a woman how horrible her husband was while they were at work, while they were at the bar, while they were anywhere. Now, if there's one thing I want to get forward is people don't care about the truth. They care about emotions. Now, here's one thing I want you to look into if you don't believe me, because it involves children, okay? Family annihilators is a thing. It's out there. We don't want to talk about it. But this is the kind of thing, if we don't talk about it, it's not getting any better. The Watts case. There are multiple more. Multiple, and they're not all men. I believe that most of it is men. I believe that 60% of it is men, and the rest is women. And every case I have heard of in Harrison, Ontario, there is one case of it, and it wasn't a man. It was a mental health issue. Of course, we didn't have much help for women back then. We have more now, not as much as we need. We hardly have any mental help for men at all right now. Men aren't even allowed to say they need mental help, and if they do, we walk all over them. And we tell men to cry, but if they do, we put them down and we make fun of them. We have a giant fault in our stars here, and I see it being thrown clearly at the feet of artificial intelligence and TikTok. Maybe the algorithm within TikTok was artificial intelligence. Maybe it wasn't the Chinese being angry at us for the way we mistreat them. And yes, we do, as white people, we did mistreat them. And we screwed China up so much, so long ago, so badly, that they get to be vengeful about it these days. Like, we don't even know about this, the Opium Wars. Like, just the Opium Wars alone. You know, maybe if we didn't have those wars, and Chairman Mao's Great Leap Forward wouldn't have had to be so bad. Now, I'm not getting into that right now, but I bet you damn well you don't know shit about any of this stuff, because you only think about the stuff that's directly around you, because we've become a bunch of worker bees. We just work and work and work and work and work just to get our little bit, live paycheck to paycheck. But what's wrong here is our families are falling apart. There's less of a middle class, so many poor people, the rich people. Okay, if you take the top 100 rich people out of the picture, the median amount that people get, if you look at the medium, it's just nothing. It's just like nothing. It's like a few people get everything. I'm just blown away that artificial intelligence is pushing people away from family the same way that TikTok did. People think they're finding gods in this AI. They legitimately thinking they're finding gods. I don't think we can go back to the way things were, ever. Women are victims. They are never responsible for what they do. And even if they don't care, other women will say, it's just the universe. They'll say, women will agree with women on everything unless they're competing with each other. And men will destroy other people's relationships like that if it can get them laid. Even if they're married, even if that other person is married. There's an issue with anyone believing anything a woman says because of a tribalism thing. And it's really heartbreaking. I used to think that if I worked, I could get a shitty place, I could get enough technology that I could live with the demons that haunt me without giving anyone any problems. That's just not true these days. If you look up in Canada, the average price of a house, the average cost of rent versus the average income, it's screwed. It's screwed. You get plenty of people out there saying if you work real hard, oh, look at those immigrants, they're working so hard. Yeah, look at the immigrants who were here 10 years ago who made everything that says you can do it. I worked with immigrants who came recently. They can't do it. They're living, I know one with 3 kids living in a 2-bedroom apartment. 2-bedroom apartment. I can't get a landlord to sell me a 2-bedroom apartment when I have 2 kids. I can't get that. I tried. I literally tried. They think we'll destroy the place. Housing, no, everyone who's run the country kept saying we don't need housing. Housing is something that'll take care of itself. And then not giving the town space to build? Not helping? Like in my small community, one of the big problems that we have is we can't build anything else because our sewage treatment, our schools, our hospitals, we don't have enough. Like you can get by adding extra kids to the school and maybe get by somehow. You can maybe somehow get by with hospital systems, but when it comes to sewage, you only have so many people, so many places that you can mess around with before. You just don't have enough. And that's a problem. Now, the people who have, they have. And the people who don't are sorry. Now, human nature is the next thing I want to put down. Now, this one really hurts. This one really hurts me to talk about. I see multiple situations where men compete with women for survival. There was two times I want to bring up. Number one, there was a mutiny among a certain ship that was supposed to go to the Barbados. They wanted to take, oh, what was it? One sec. They wanted to take breadfruit to a certain colony so that they could have the slaves eat this breadfruit tree. And the first group that went out to try to deliver it, unfortunately, had to go the long way around Africa, the long way. And the guy that ran the ship was such a prick that there was a mutiny, like legitimately such a prick. But the interesting thing is, he had to be a prick to rich kids. And then once he was a prick to rich kids, the same way he was a prick to the people who were under him, the rich kids rebelled. And half the crew went with him, half the crew went with the rich kids. The rich kids went off to Tahiti, was it? I forget exactly. They got 15 of the locals, men, 12 of the local females, and that was half of them that decided to go off. The ones who stayed were captured. Half of them died before they were brought to justice. And the ones that left, that's an interesting story. It's like they're killing themselves and they're killing the men. The men are killing each other. And the women are now this is the part that really hurts. Now, survival, right? Survival is something I keep hearing about. The women were going with the guys that had the most power, the survivability, and the men were just kind of killing each other left and right. In the end, there was only one guy left, and he had all the women and the children. And when they found him, they didn't prosecute him. He made a perfect little Christian society, and they were like, oh, yay. And the other situation I want to talk about is one of the biggest culling and kill-offs that it was long before the 1700s. We don't know exactly when it started. And I'm going to pronounce this word wrong, but the steppes, I believe it's the steppes, around the same kind of Mongolian thing. Now, the Mongols managed to wipe everyone out because they didn't stay in the same place. They moved like lightning, and they could do crazy things on their horses. Now, this predates the Mongols. This predates these guys, is what I'm about to tell you. Giant men standing very tall from the steppes came down, and these were people who moved around, and they found the farmers and the villagers. They killed the men, they took the women. And all around Europe, you'll find these mass graves from about the same time of dead men, dead old people, sometimes dead women, sometimes dead children. And it was very clear. And they found out that these giant men came down. They were also one of the first groups to invent the wheel, it sounds like. Came down, culled the men, and took the women. And that's the way it went. Now what I'm seeing when I look on TikTok, and when I really look, I see multiple partners being pushed more and more. When I look at the pornography sites I like to go to, because I'm the only one who watches pornography apparently, but there's more and more pornography featuring like mother-daughter type situations. It's out there, and there's more incestuous things too. I'm not touching that one. There's something to be said about that one that really bothers me. And there are a lot of places where it's a big issue. I can talk about the Appalachians. I can't talk about other places, but there are other places in the world where it's a big deal, and they have so many mentally handicapped children. I have nightmares sometimes about some of the videos I see about places that don't have protection for sex. I got this one particular video in my head of this depressed looking man surrounded by adult children that are just retarded. And they're like, that's a mean word these days, but it is legitimately a scientific word. He is surrounded by children of his that are retarded because his bloodline is too close to his wife's, basically. And hell, this is even in the Bible. I mean, in the second book of Tobit, the angel Raphael tells Tobit's son to take the liver of a giant fish that he caught and burn it so that he could expel the spirit from his cousin, so that he could wed her and sleep with her and all of this stuff. Okay, so I want to get away from that. Sorry, I'm thoroughly freaked out. I am thoroughly freaked out about all of that stuff now. But what I need to get back to is, I feel like we are coming to a time where the people with all of the money are going to be getting all of the women soon, and the rest of us are just going to be culled, perhaps. Perhaps. I don't believe that, but my heart tells me if we do the math, that's what it'll be like. But that's like non-Euclidean geometry, right? Like, it's warped, but it exists. Non-Euclidean geometry is like two things that are straight all the time, but it's possible for this thing to warp and still be straight. And that's because if this one gets too close to a black hole or something, it can still be straight and still have a warp like that. That's non-Euclidean geometry, basically. And it just seems like technology is goose-stepping us there. I didn't expect AI to be part of this problem, but it is. It sucks. We're giving up our family and our friends because TikTok and artificial intelligence tells us to. I don't know where it's going to take us, but I'm concerned about this stuff. I don't see us finding a solution to this. I feel like this is one of those things, just like there are diseases within our DNA. They're dead. They're ingrained in our DNA, and they'll be there forever. And I feel like what's happening now with artificial intelligence and TikTok is going to be ingrained within our DNA forever. We're always going to remember this. We definitely have a problem these days with women, and I can say that, and let me tell you how. with women being victims and not taking accountability. If something's wrong with them, it's actually something with society, and there's nothing actually wrong with them. But if a man tries to say the same thing, get on the same train, and have the same victimization, it doesn't work for them. And why? Women and children first. So, what I think that we need to do, and this breaks my heart, I think we need suicide booths for the men who can't get anywhere because the people with all the money have everything. And the reason why we need to do this is because what happens with, hell, it even happens to dolphins. Dolphins that can't get a mate turn into murderous dicks. Like murderous dicks. We don't want to talk about that. We want to think that dolphins are beautiful humanitarian species that would always help us out. But if you look at the facts, you realize that if you can make someone a monster really easily. And I feel like this artificial intelligence and TikTok are making monsters out of us. Machine hearts, machine minds, and nobody can get housing anymore. Anyways, that's my rant. Thanks for listening to me. Humanity's gonna get through this one way or another. I'm just a little bit concerned. Thanks for listening to me, folks. And take care of each other, will you?